Greetings and gratitude, and welcome back to my channel. Let us now invite in the Council of 13 to deliver a message they deem as necessity for you at this time. At this moment in human history, humanity has the opportunity to shift of their knowing from that of the unconscious to that of the conscious. The unconscious is the unknowing that exists, the forgetfulness with which you no longer remember that you are of spirit first, walking an earthly journey. Conscious decision is such, where all aspects are viewed and processed through the frequency of unconditional love. Moving forward, attunement to unconditional love is of your mission. Enlightenment will grant you with understanding of the human experience with which most are succumbing. Divisiveness, hatred, non-understanding are all choices made by the ego mind. The ego presents as power and control being beneficial, without recognition that in order to do so, you inhibit the life of another. When you bring power back to self, you work in unconditional love to spring forth joy and happiness and peace as your new state of being. In order to remove the indignities, you must release of the traumas and hardships that are no longer serving you at this time. The chaos that exists is strictly of distraction to keep you from turning inward to discover of your true self. Your soul is asking that you return home, return to your knowing, return to the understanding that your soul is to guide you in the betterment of you. When you begin to recognize that in the betterment of you is for the betterment of all, you know that you are one fragment of the entirety. The entirety is all within creation, all that has been gifted to you. We must begin to recognize that the powers that be are keeping humanity stuck within the cycle of sameness. Redundancy is when a circumstance reoccurs over and over and over again. But you have determined that you shall not shift of your perspective to do something different. Now is the time to begin to do different, to be different, to see different. When you begin to recognize that the alternative perspective is here to grant you with a life of peace everlasting, the shift within your consciousness frees you from the control with which is exerted via the ego mind. The ego mind is not doing this on purpose for whether in benefit or detriment to self, the ego aligns with what brings it comfort. And at this time, we are witnessing that a lot of what brings humanity comfort is to the detriment of another. Begin to view for the betterment of the entirety. For as we are all one, we are meant to work together to provide for the benefit of the whole. Evil is of the unconscious. Evil does not exist beyond the 3D unconsciousness. For evil and hatred, divisiveness and separation, control and greed are all byproducts of the ego grasping to selfishness. What we must remember is the definition of selfless is different amongst the human and spiritual understanding. Selfless to the human is giving up of self in order to provide for another. Selfless to spirit is doing in the betterment of self, in turn doing in the betterment of all. Keep this top of mind when moving forward amongst the chaos that currently exists within your surrounding. We ask this in remembrance of your soul, for which is to guide you to peace as your new state of being. In gratitude, we gift and receive infinite unconditional love to and from you, always and forever.